Dendi Puck and Dendi Magnus have also been two of their key heroes, it feels like, in some of their... I mean, obviously everyone, I think at this point, has at least seen the highlights of the Dendi Mag yesterday.
I would say if Na'Vi get like such overwhelmingly good team fight that they get, like, say they get Undying and they get like a Dendi Puck, then for me, Na'Vi has automatically won the game. In my opinion, just because that's where Yellow Submarine need to be able to win, and you just can't win against that.
You can't skirmish that much against those
I mean, you don't want to fight into it.
That actually happened. I think Hellraisers actually had Undying and Puck, and they just straight up crushed Yellow Submarine.
So maybe what Yellow Submarine should be doing is trying to take those heroes away from Na'Vi and looking to run them for themselves. Do they run Puck very often? I'm looking at their... They have not run it in their last 10 games.
I believe that would be the one hero that Barash runs over Miposhka. So Miposhka is usually the...
we gotta get in the draft, boys.
We can get our answers as far as what they need to draft if we actually take a look at the draft.
Yeah, we can.
Let's do it.
As far as Puck goes, that is Barash hero, actually, despite the fact that I usually associate it with Miposhka, but because Miposhka likes to run the squishier, higher DPS heroes, while Barash usually runs the more stable. For example, Barash should be running the SF, and that's why kind of like more stable, right? Dragonite, SF, those heroes tank up and they're sustainable damage, and I think it fits Barash's playstyle very well. I feel he's a very consistent, always puts out pretty good performances, but that doesn't necessarily shine. So you don't want to see him on something that is like a very, very high skill cap hero that can also like fail at the wrong notice. I think that really falls to Miposhka, who runs like Sniper and Ember Spirit and those kind of heroes that can make the really big plays in the clutch moments.
This is a pretty... Yellow Submarine open up their 1-2 punches. Their 1-2 top picks coming into the qualifier. Shadow Fiend, they had 6 games coming into this qualifier, being 5-1. Darkseer 5 games coming 4-1. And
this is exactly.
They did this last time, and I made the same call this time. I'm like, oh, this is their top 2. So it'd be interesting if they picked up a Witch Doctor. Then the Witch Doctor came up. I was gonna say the same exact line here, and it would have been deja vu
What's their
all
fourth
over
pickup?
Again. Well, normally they have Dragon Knight in their top 4, which we already see them go for. But they actually have a pretty
they
terrible
went
record
Viper and I don't remember the last support. It was Viper +1. Viper Rubik was the last 2.
Rubik. This would be a pretty good Rubik game.
I mean, I'm already kind of concerned just the fact that literally, call a guy, you go top pick, second pick, third pick, and that's exactly what Yellow Submarine is.
4 for 4.
That either says to me that Na'Vi have either like read what Yellow Submarine do and have a big advantage. They're like, all right, we know exactly what they're going to do.
They're really good with this.
They haven't done it at all.
By the way, they're really good with this lineup.
Or they haven't read it at all, right? And they didn't do it to London Conspiracy.
No, they didn't.
I can guarantee they didn't do that to London Conspiracy. Just watching the way that draft went down.
Now, is this going to be a support shaker? Because it's kind of an awkward duo, the Shadow Demon Earthshaker. Very passive, defensive, and it's not really against a very aggressive lineup early on. Yellow Submarine are perfectly happy just to play the fun game.
They play very aggressively. It might look like it's not an aggressive lineup, but the way they ran it last time was Viper, Witch Doctor in the off lane, Rubik roaming, Shadow Fiend mid, and Darkseer bottom. And they just constantly put out pressure in all the lanes.
Was this game 1 where it was like the horse race right at the beginning?
There were 6 kills almost before the first rune spawn.
It was crazy.
It was the most aggressive game I've seen.
It was 2 trains coming a head-on crash, and then there was a tumbleweed of death that just went from mid lane all the way down to the bottom. Odie Pixel, like, he was calling it out like it was a horse race, and I couldn't even finish the introduction just how fast they went off the rails, so it was pretty damn crazy, but okay.
Look at this, the Lifestealer coming out now. Now this hero did a lot of work in the most recent match that we had over on the Mango stream, and it's a hero that seems to be stock rising in general. I was talking with Hani about it, and we were discussing like, well, what are some good Havost heroes besides Gyrocopter in this patch, since you're not always going to get them. And Lifestealer immediately came up for both of us as, man, this is a Havost classic, could be something they want to go for. And
are they going to ban Viper?
If they don't and they pick it up, I'm gonna
Would be a good bet.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, thank you.
They've done some research.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also just kind of an obvious
they let the Viper go, then I'm just like, we lost.
They could pick Razor. I think Razor's like a good substitute for Viper in terms that he's a mech carrier, he's anti-Lifestealer, and he's like a frontline tank that they utilize and can also play very aggressively. Aside from that, I'm not terribly experienced with Yellow Submarine, but I do know what they like these for.
I think you're right on the money. I think Razor would be an awesome pickup. It's very
good
versus
5 for 5.
Yellow Submarine, we know you too well, but does not be. Oh man.
So at this point in time, I mean, what are some of the best offlaners you can get in this situation where you're facing up against a Razor who's a very strong laner, and you also, I mean, you already have the initiation factor with the Lifestealer, so he can jump inside the Queen of Pain, so I guess you don't need that factor, but I feel like you can't necessarily run a melee offlaner.
They can puck offlane. They can puck or Nyx, I think, is pretty good. Just a fighter with some AoE that won't lose a lane too badly.
Do you think Phoenix is a viable pickup here?
Oh yeah, I think Phoenix is really good.
I mean, it's
Clockwork's still there.
It's a good disc game, though. They have very little initiation. They have Fissure. And like,
Clockwork is in there. He's a cool.
Fest Bomb, Queen of Pain. I mean...
the problem I have with Clockwork is that, as you know, Yellow Submarine like to get really aggressive. They can rotate their supports out, in which
Rubik's really good versus them.
That's right.
1 versus 1, obviously.
It feels like they do need something a little more disruptive in fights, though. That's where the egg could be nice. Cogs would be nice, but I just feel like it leaves kind of this gaping hole in the rest of the draft as far as who's their catch, really.
Yeah. I want to see Phoenix because I think... Ooh, okay, so offlane Shaker.
Okay, so that makes a little more sense.
Okay, that's gonna be fun. Guys, are we gonna be seeing the Agnum's Lifestealer? You get the Echo Slam jump Queen of Pain bomb? Not gonna be happening, but...
I haven't seen that yet.
It's not gonna happen. That's like ultra luxury silly mode. I just hope that I'm warmed up and ready for, you know, Yellow Submarine to probably lead up from the gate in a death ball. If it's
we might have already missed a kill.
I know, it's like...
Are we hearing like 5 heroes TPing bottom at level 1 or something and just straight into the Radiant jungle?
I mean, if it's a repeat of history... I don't know if you want to do that against Navi, though. Do you think that...
Navi likes fighting early.
It's what they do. Their chemistry is really, really good. And I think the way they play, they make a lot of teams shake and crumble. Like, you take like 6, 8, 7, 8 fights, they're going to mess up 1 or 2 of them, and then they're just going to keep up the pressure over and over. That's how they play, and that's probably how they got that far through the open qualifiers as well as where they are now.
Navi has had some great comebacks in this tournament, as it sounds like we're getting into the game. We're going to hop into it in just a moment.
Prepare for battle.
They had a Magnus gyrocopter in one of their big comeback games. They do not have that kind of draft. If they fall behind hard early, they're not coming back.
Yeah, a lot of their heroes aren't that great at team fight. Like Lifestealer, Shadow Demon, they're sort of meh, and Winter Wyvern, mixed results.
Man, what a cool Lifestealer set. Sorry, I've never seen that one before. It's pretty badass.
So they are 5-manning their own woods off the bat here, Yellow Submarine. And with that, Cap, before we hand it over to the casters, do you favor anyone here?
For this game specifically, I feel I favor Yellow Submarine, actually, despite the fact that I have Navi taking this either 2-0 or 1-1. I feel like Yellow Submarine did a pretty good job drafting, and I'm just not sure how I feel about Navi.
By good job, you mean Navi just let them have everything that they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't let them have the Viper, okay?
I mean, I think that the Razor was the good job part, right? You lost your Viper, but you get a Razor up against a Lifestealer. That's like an obvious play, but it's legit.
It's a good job.
It's a slight handicap. And with that, guys, we're going to hand it off to our commentators. Kato Guy and Merlini will be taking you through this series. Navi versus Yellow Submarine. Navi, they just need 1 game to secure a playoff berth.
Thank you, LD. Thank you, Cap. We'll see you at the conclusion of this series. Ben, let's do it, baby. And you can see already an early smoke coming out from Yellow Submarine. This time, though, not looking to charge past that river. Maybe if they had that confrontation coming from the other side, they would try to trigger and pull out the boxing gloves. But
got that Immortal.
They're going to be taking it easy. And yeah, already flexing off that sweet new Immortal. Looks like Barash is going to be taking it back to the mid lane here. So not yet seeing the laning setup here. Still a big congregation here for Yellow Submarine near the mid lane, but it looks like eventually that Darkseer is going to make it over to the off lane.
Navi were set up for a gank on bottom. It was really smart that he didn't go for the rune. So they have to have a lot of aggression, but calculated aggression, not just willy-nilly.
Little trades between supports here, but as the lanes do settle here, any particular laning matchup you're going to favor from either side. Funnick now going to be our off-lane Earthshaker, but he's going to be going against a Razor, and he's already like, don't even think about it, buddy. If you get close, I'm going to dish out the link. We're not going to let you get a whole lot of this, but is it more important for one side or the other to really come off to a fresh start?
Lifestealer versus Darkseer is an older matchup, and I think Hubbo's played a lot of Lifestealer in the Lifestealer era, and it's kind of like anti-mage versus Darkseer. It's just one that if you're a very experienced carry player, you can thrive in that matchup. So I actually would not favor Yellow.
Oh, they tried to hide the creep in the corner, and the Dragon's like, I see you down there, and gets the quick pick. Fast courier snipe coming out for Navi. Well done from Sonico.
Well done indeed. So that's, I mean, it's not a win for the mid lane since he already got his bottle, but obviously still pretty good for them. So top lane, not terribly great for Darkseer. He actually had a TP back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they switched.
No.
Okay, so this is. I think this is much better because Darkseer is not going to do well versus the Lifestealer, especially Havos Lifestealer. So you want to. They picked the Viper or the Razor to match up against the Lifestealer, and if you're not matching up with them against the lane, then it's not that great for you because he farms a little bit better, I would say. So it's important that they get this matchup in. They really like to pressure the lanes as opposed to sack a lane. They really don't like sacking lanes at all.
For now, at least the Razor buys low, so we're going to get flanked from behind. Here goes Soniko continuing to put out the work, going to get the slow out here, and now comes the open moon. Static Link is going to help nerf down the damage, but he still can't get away from this. Looks like he's not going to be going anywhere. It's going to be first blood for Na'Vi. Artstyle's going to be picking it up. Okay, so Na'Vi strike first, get themselves onto the board.
They probably need to rotate another support up there if they want to contest the lane. I'm surprised that they left Razor alone up there, but they didn't really see where the Winter Wyvern. So Soniko's been doing an excellent job. First, you know, seeing where the Witch Doctor was on bottom, and then getting the mid chicken kill, and then getting first blood on top. So what Yellow Submarine does, again, they don't like the sack lanes. They won't, like, let's say, sack for the Darkseer, let Darkseer jungle, and then let Razor farm bottom. That's not their style. So you'll see them rotate another support up here. No sacking, always contesting.
Yeah, before I can even recognize, like, oh, interesting. Razor stuck by himself. Na'Vi were already onto it, and they take advantage of it. Soniko has already been putting in the mileage here. Back at mid lane once more, just trying to stay in the dark. Keeping Yellow Submarine guessing. Now committed left behind. Look who's coming over from the cliffside. Now flying on forward. And this is a great positioning setup from Na'Vi. The Rubik looking to come in, but it's going to only... Oh, he gets the return kill. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. Rubik at the right place at the right time, but Na'Vi were the ones getting the kill first and get that XP
I think
boost.
Soniko actually could have cold embraced him and saved him.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know by now.
I don't know the actual range on that spell, but he was very, very close because he had to finish him off with telekinesis because he didn't actually have his. He already used Phase Bolt to try and finish him off. That would have been really big if they had saved Dendi there.
Yeah. Fortunately, not the case. Dendi makes his return. Already at 12 and 13. I mean, that's what we know about Dendi. This kid loves to deny on top of getting his own CS. In fact, he has even more denies than CS, averaging some of the best that you can see across the Dota platform, taking that extra bit away. But top lane, leading with Disruption, Soul Catcher going to be connecting. He's going to go for the immediate TP here, and will be able to make it out. Good heads-up play from him, but Witch Doctor, believe he is lucky. He will. The TP brother is going to be avoiding the lane. Still a good victory for Na'Vi, forcing him to kind of step back on out and making more space again for Havos to farm it on up.
And so Soniko with the already having a soul ring, that's really big. That it just keeps your uptime up so much when you don't ever have to go back to heal as a support. And consistently just keep on killing Shadow Fiend, keep using Splinter Shards on the top lane, and Phonics still getting a lot out of the bottom lane. Luckily, he is Earthshaker, has the luxury of shared with Clockwork of being able to manipulate the creep wave position.
And it looks like he's going for his own soul ring. But yeah, Soniko is using this Winter Wyvern in a very aggressive way. Something we haven't seen a whole lot of. And bit of history repeated. Rubik going to be coming in this time. I imagine the Golden Embrace should be ready to go. Barash looking to kind of go toe-to-toe. There's the Embrace. He's trying to make a run. Ooh, barely alive. No, not going to be happening. He actually ends up going down. I don't know if that was an attempted deny, but it looks like, nonetheless, another victory for Na'Vi. Their team in the mid lane. 3-1.
I actually don't like Shadow Fiend's build with the 2 branch into the bottle. He didn't have any HP. If he had like a Wraith Band, like most Shadow Fiend started off with in the Qualifers SF matchup, he would have. I think he would have been okay for probably both of the kills. Well, at least the second one, but he needs some stats. And Shadow Fiend versus Co-op is a very nuanced matchup.
Oh, top lane. Telekinesis is back with the Static Link here. Can they get the Lucky Coconut? No, they cannot. Havos is going to be out of there, back to the base side, and, well, with that, they're kind of just going to have to hold their own in the top lane. Very deep into the enemy territory here. Artstyle and Soniko.
The supports on Na'Vi are just playing incredibly well.
They're actually, like, almost feel like they're being more aggressive than what we're used to seeing from Yellow Submarine, giving them a bit of their own medicine. And maybe it's actually going to be a bit uncomforting here for Yellow Submarine. Look at this. Shadow Fiend can't even safely farm on the side. Here comes trouble. Do they get close enough for the disruption setup here, or at least the slow? Yep, there it is. And with that, they're going to get the disruption out. There's the Soul Catcher. Can the 2 supports alone get the job done? It looks like they can. They're just trying to sidestep, and there's nothing he can do. They are just bullying Yellow Submarine at this point. Na'Vi off to a strong charge now, advancing their lead now to 4-1. This is very impressive stuff. Something I wasn't expecting, considering when we look at the draft, it almost seems like Na'Vi, I don't want to say had no respect for Yellow Submarine, but it's clear they just kind of let them draft as they pleased. But maybe that was because they had an answer for it.
The way Soniko moves is incredible. He always moves like undetected. They placed the high ground observer ward next to the top room, but that was after he had already done a lot of damage with the chicken kill and then with the 2 rotations to mid. And then they moved undetected to place that ward to check the Shadow Fiend stacks, and this Shadow Fiend is having a really, really rough game and will continue to do so. They've even had Rubik sit mid for the last 2 ganks, and it's still just not working for them.
Rubik is like, oh, I punched my card. I'm going to be checking out as mid lane defender. You take over, Witch Doctor, for now. I need to do something in the top lane. They're going to make another go onto Hibos. This time they're going to be successful to pull back. The static level of the rotations coming up from Na'Vi. Artel there with disruption. Now the wall going to be dropped to the other side of the world. Comes the Darkseer. Now Nico going to flying form. Gets a brace on himself to save him on out. But the Razor going to get whacked with the fissure coming in from Frontic. Now it's Yellow Submarine again on the run. They've already lost 1. Big scream flies out. Dendy tried to get both of them one shot. Is able to finish out the Darkseer. Now it's PSM on the run, but he has nowhere to go. He is going to get dropped. It's a double kill for Dendy. Make it 3 all day. Na'Vi continue to triumph here in the early game.
Man, their playstyle is so well suited to dealing with Yellow Submarine, though. They are not afraid to commit 5 heroes to save Hibos. Actually, he wasn't really in that much danger, but they wanted to get the kills. They know that they need to continue to beat.
Oh, right on your head. I thought they were going to have the mana for a follow from Dendy, but Fonic does it the old-fashioned way, just trots right next to him, throws down the freaking Echo Slam, and Shadow Fiend goes down again. This is a beating. They are taking Yellow Submarine and shoving him in a locker right now.
They just need to take a couple more fights like this. And again, Yellow Submarine, I guess that's one of their weaknesses, that they don't sack the lane. And they just continue to get beat down in each and every one of the lanes. So they can try and eventually take over with a better 5-on-4. But every time they've been down, they don't resort to like stacking and grouping together and huddling together and playing passively. Usually they look to fight more. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how they're going to approach this, because this is way further behind than I've seen them in most situations.
I mean, you could see it there. Until that very moment, the top 4 net worth all belong to Na'Vi. It's safe to say every lane has been a big victory for him. Bottom has been so-so, but Fonic has still gotten so much out of it. And we saw he's already being able to participate in that top lane skirmish, then moving down the mid lane with the Echo.
And they have a lot of stacks. Look at that big old stack.
That big old good stack they got right there. It looks so delicious.
I mean, imagine if Earthshaker gets an early blink. That is just almost
here he comes. Go! And he just starts ripping them apart. He's already got about 1,500 gold. This is looking pretty damn good. So we already are praising. Oh, looks like up ahead, Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, once he gets a blink dagger, they have like a good best bomb.
Oh, good wall bomb. Looks like they have to look at Sonico. Cold Embrace might stall out quite a bit here. He's holding on, and he eventually will go down.
The thing about Sonico's Winter Wyvern is he really uses the flying ability way more than any other Winter Wyvern that I've seen.
Oh yeah,
especially with his gank from the mid lane. I don't know if they pick Dire or what, but I feel like they're more likely to pick it on Dire because he can do that maneuver and just approach from the fog very, very quickly. You don't have that available to you on the Dire side, and that's one thing that I've seen lacking from a lot of Winter Wyverns.
I mean, I don't know. It feels like this is going to be the first time Na'Vi have ran Winter Wyvern, at least from what I've seen, but they are definitely utilizing it in a way that I have not seen from other teams. I've seen teams pull it out. We saw it when they, used it against a Wiz Tiny to be able to lock one in place and kind of have the rest of the team back it up from there. But in this kind of very aggressive playstyle, catching out the mid laner off guard.
Yeah, I think he's best in a very offensive playstyle. Yeah. People think he's a defensive hero because of his Cold Embrace, but Cold Embrace is like sick at tanking towers and saving over aggressive players like Hibos and Dendy. So I mean, it's a really good hero when in this sort of situation. Oh, and here we go. First Infest spawn with a smoke, ulti up. It's looking bad. They're grouped up as a ball on bottom.
Here it comes. PSM's just like, I'm just doing a pull through, no problem, right? And oh, wow, nice quick steals in to blink away, but then he's right there behind him. They've shot the scream. They're not ready to kind of just blow up the bomb, but then they will right thereafter. It's going to be PSM who will go down first. They're going to decide to pull back it away, and quickly you see the retreat comes out. Witch Doctor's like, good luck, Razor. I'm out.
Man, that steal was so fast. That guy plus plays Rubik a lot. My goodness.
Maybe even has quick cast ready to go. Who knows, right? But with that, it's just not going to be enough for him to get away, even with that impressive 1,300 blink.
So
Radiant's
still Na'Vi getting a lot
bottom
out of this. So
tower is
we
under
continue to praise what Na'Vi are being able to get done this early game. What can Yellow Submarine really do to kind of bounce back so that they can still try to at least match Na'Vi on par in the mid game? And well, as that happens here, Dendi might be able to scout out.
Dire's top tower
He's got
is
the
under
scope.
attack.
Oh, he waited to jump in, but I don't know if the fall through is quite there. No, it's
Radiant's
not.
bottom
Okay.
tower is
Man, if
under
you were there
attack.
like 2 seconds earlier, I think that would have been a kill.
Yeah.
But they've been very good about managing their cooldowns too. Like you saw that Havos didn't immediately pop out when they saw the Rubik. He was waiting to see for more heroes.
Radiant's
He didn't
bottom
blow his
tower
Sonic
is
Wave,
under
and
attack.
there's a lot of opportunities that's missed if you overkill on a hero like Rubik. It's
Dire's
okay to
top
overkill on
tower
like
is
Razor,
under
let's say, or
attack.
Shadow Fiend, but you don't want to use it on a solo Rubik.
Medallion also complete on your Shadow Demon, so maybe they're
Does he almost
considering
have Blink?
on this on the Funnic Earthshaker.
Yeah, he should have.
He's got it
Oh my.
already.
That's really
Radiant's
bad
bottom tower
for Yellow
is under
Submarine.
attack.
Over the 11-minute mark too. So now even extra initiation on top of it, maybe even an extra target to use as that infest bomb.
Radiant's
This is going to be
bottom
very
tower
tricky
is
for
under
Yellow
attack.
Submarine. Their only high
Radiant
priority farm right now
structures
seems to be the
are
Darkseer, about 3,600. But he needs more time. Darkseer, as we know, got to get
Radiant's
the early
bottom
point into your
tower
ult, but
has
you still need to
fallen.
get more points into your vacuum. He's probably looking, if not the Shadow Fiend to be the mech holder, then he has to be the one to kind of add that bit of sustain. In fact, they actually have technically 3 mech candidates, and it's, okay, the Darkseer who's going to be going for it. So, but they're not going to have that benefit of the heal if they keep getting knocked down like this.
Coming in with an Echo Slam, Dendi's going to scout him out. But what they really need is level 6 on Witch Doctor. I think with that ultimate, they could turn around some team fights that they normally wouldn't
He's
be able to win.
5. He's 6. Okay, I think it's okay, but there's going to be jumping Fissure, and the Echo follow-up. Rat's going to be going down. Rubik is able to jump and gets his own Echo, uses it right back onto Funnic, but the disruption does come out defensively. And with that, they're able to step back and away. Ends up being a Shadow Fiend takedown once more. He has been just absolutely punished this game. And Na'Vi just continue to really thrive. With that, now they head towards the bottom. They're going to be able to scout out just a bounty rune here for Dendi, but I don't think they're looking to let up this pressure.
Definitely not. I haven't seen a Shadow Fiend shut down this hard in a really long time.
Oh man, that's slow. Can't follow through with more. And now the Razor. Going to be shoveled on up. He's dropped 11-2. Na'Vi putting on a clinic with this matchup. We all a bit nervous when the drafting finished as far as Na'Vi. Were they going to be prepared for Yellow Submarine with what looks like some of the most comfortable heroes? Well, they certainly are. Uh-oh, another lead in Fissure. Surge, get the hell out of there. Darkseer, can you run? Looks like he won't be able to make it away. No, little Shadow Demon, not close enough to get the disruption.
I wouldn't be surprised if Yellow Submarine took like 1 or 2 more team fights and then GG'd out. Because that's what they did in game number 2, where they were just getting owned by HR with a very early all-in strategy. And I guess they do have some decent late game, but with the Aegis coming out, with the Blink well out on Earthshaker, with no items coming out on Shadow Fiend, with Razor not being able to control Lifesteal at all, he can just kill him before the Stack Link does that much. They are close to Hail Mary status, and oof. Na'Vi almost going for that Roche. That was Yellow Submarine's opportunity to potentially get back into this game.
Yeah,
but Na'Vi, no quarter.
5-man smoke here. Anticipating possibly that Roche. They're waiting on the other side, but that opportunity is not going to be there. And yeah, Na'Vi well ahead here. Not looking to get caught out, but if they are to GG out that early, you got to remember what is at stake. Yellow Submarine then kind of leave their fate in the London Conspiracy Vegas Squadron matchup if they can even help for a tiebreaker situation. But here we go. They charge on in, but they're caught all together. A huge cart is going to drop them right there. Funnic looks to move on in. They get the pull back. The wall is going to be there, so they couldn't really capitalize too much on all the being together. But now they got the screen. They dish out the huge damage. Oh no, Yellow Submarine. It is indeed going to be a sinking ship down to the bottom abyss. Na'Vi wipe out the 5. They lose no one. Oh my
Radiant's
God.
top tower is under attack.
That is heartbreaking if you're looking to be behind Yellow Submarine. And with that,
That was without Echo. If they had Echo up, they would have
Radiant's
been
top
completely
tower is under attack.
I thought the Echo was going to be
What
there.
a sick fissure. A 5-man fissure from Funnic. Queen of Pain wasn't even there to start off the fight. She eventually is able to take Queen down, which is right about to happen. But if she were there earlier, they would have just been all died like right after the fissure.
If it was 20
Radiant's
seconds
middle
later,
tower
we could have
is
seen
under
this on the
attack.
front page called Easy Rampage number, 100 and some odd. That would have been crazy. This is out of control. But, I mean, as I was going into Na'Vi, though, they're feeling good. They get this win here, they have already guaranteed their move into the playoffs. So
They're looking to come out
Middle
raw
tower
aggression
has
now.
fallen.
They secure the tier 1. Man, Funnick has been setting up so much work with the Fissure, and well, him and Dendy, they're going to dish out an early Echo. Not going to be significant on the damage, and with that, they're going to be able to walk on away. Arcel pretty weak and wounded, but they're not going to get the drop. No blood will be shed, just the tower dropped.
Does the courier have the gem right now?
Well,
Radiant's
did he
top
steal?
tower
He did
is under
steal.
attack.
He stole the power. Okay, the poison was stolen. They look to charge on forward. They get the Rubik kill. All right, fair enough. So, wow, almost speechless at this point. The way
Dire's
Yellow
middle
Submarine
tower
are
is
just.
under attack.
Yeah, maybe they actually let them have that lineup because they knew exactly how they play with it.
Yeah.
All Navi need to do is just commit enough. Once you win like 1 or 2 early team fights, all you need to do is just have everyone there and make sure that no one's off split pushing or farming. So it's actually not that difficult to counter if you know what's coming at you. And Navi, I mean, just from the early get-go with the Winter Wyvern and, you know, putting
Dire's
pressure on the
top
Razor as soon as he
tower is
TP
under
top, just
attack.
playing all their cards right.
I mean, a performance like this from a Winter Wyvern, you're curious if Yellow Submarine actually consider giving it a respect ban. Maybe not in phase 1, but in phase 2, certainly.
Dire's structures
You guys are feeling pretty good about point this one.
When teams are down 17-2, usually don't see them venture to the opposite side of the river. And Yellow Submarine probably headed towards to land or advance to slaughter.
It's just all over the place here. They just are continuing to look to get punished here if possible, but they're desperate to try to get any sort of inkling to get back into this game. Now, it's coming in vulnerable close. They overextended, but look who comes in from behind. Dendy with the huge wave is going to be able to secure a godlike streak, and it's just still Navi being the chanters here, wiping the floor of Yellow Submarine. Another 5-man wipe.
Yeah, that's GG.
It's over.
That is, you know, I've only seen 2 games from them, but just watching those 2, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're like, when they're down and behind, they do not stop fighting. They keep going for YOLO smokes and just hoping for the best, and eventually they're going to GG out. They know it's over. And, you know, again, I respect their play to try and win instead of not losing. Not losing is sitting back, trying to outfarm